There's an exclusive club here at the Isle of Man TT, and if there's one rule to learn, it's that you never really talk about it. They don't just let anyone join. You have to earn it, and if your name's not down, you're not coming in, literally. So, still want to know how to join? Then you'll have to sit down and take a little history lesson from the club president himself.
2007 was the right time to do it.
And here he is, John McGuinness, for this year's Centenary Senior TT, 6 laps, 226 miles.
I love a staffing. I think that to do it in 7th Centenary year and all that, I think it was just meant to be.
I remember going and watching that race, and the way John was riding at the time was exceptional.
Lap record holder at 17 minutes and 29 seconds, 129.45 miles an hour. The man who predicted that the 130-mile-an-hour lap would happen this year.
How hard was it? I don't know, because I was just in my rhythm, I was in my riding, and the weather was mint, the bike was mint. First lap, standing start was 29 something. Second lap, 30.3, you know, slowing down for pits.
And it is a new lap record for John McGuinness. Listen to this. It is 17 minutes and 21 seconds, and he has cracked the 130 barrier as well.
I'll never forget the feeling lap 3. Everybody waved me around the whole way around. That was really special.
And over the line goes John McGuinness to win the Centenary Senior TT.
It was a hell of an effort, you know, at that time.
A lot of people talk about the 130, like there's a magic number. You know, John did it back in 2007, and then it's kind of been a target for a lot of people.
It was just a bit of a marker, really, and it gave me a guide as to actually I'm competitive here.
He's still a benchmark, John, you know, and a great benchmark for younger competitors coming through to go, Christ, if I can run somewhere near John, that's a feather in my cap, you know.
It was definitely something special for me to get a 130 lap. Getting in that 130 club, it's insane. I'm mates with John, but McGuinness, the legend that he is, starting the 130 club as such.
It seems to be a target, doesn't it? These riders are like, you know, it's a massive personal target for them to do 130. But the greatest respect they should be. You know, they should be banging them out now. I did mine in 07.
I think the 130 is still there, and it just shows you what an achievement it was that many years ago for John to do it. And then there's still people still struggling to get there now on far superior bikes.
I get it, you know, they're all really, really pleased to do it, and it's a fast lap. 130 is a fast lap.
I can understand a 130-mile-an-hour lap. Like, I think it's not unattainable.
That is, without doubt, one of the biggest achievements on any TT career. But if you want to win, if you want to be on the podium, it's not enough.
If you want to be competitive, you have to start going into the 30s and plus, you know, as an absolute minimum.
Yeah, 130 was massive, but now how many people have done it? Probably over 20 people have done it now, I'm guessing.
I think it's the top 20 now have done 130, maybe more now.
There's a lot of people doing 130s now. Yeah, we seen the list the other day, didn't we?
27 riders have now snuck through the barrier into Club 130. And when the club starts getting this crowded, you start to think that maybe it's not that exclusive after all.
Yeah, I mean, 130 now is what 125 was 10 years ago. And dude, 125 is hauling ass. Like, you are fucking flying at that point.
Yeah, well, when I first started the TT, which is 2013, 130 had already been achieved. If you could do 130 then, you were a chance of winning. Where, you know, 130 now, is you're lucky to qualify.
I'd like to say that that was the benchmark, but it's not, is it? They keep bloody going faster and making it harder, so.
For a long time, and still is today, everybody rants and raves about, oh, I want to do a 130 lap, 130 lap. You know, I'm doing 130 now on my 600.
Doesn't mean anything now unless you do it on a 600, does it?
You know, I think at one point there, I think one of the short bike races, I think if I'd have battered my 600 round, I could have been in the top 10.
These boys have started their own club. They're taking 130 down to super sport now. So, if we're going to find a new benchmark for the big bikes, then we'll have to start right at the top.
17:21 I did when that first 130, another 16:40 something now, isn't it?
The outright lap record now 36.
Man, 136. That's so fast. That's so fast.
Sorry, mate. Not in my book. I haven't got the minerals, mate, to do that.
I don't know about 136. That is incredible what Pete has done, you know. And
you know, 36s is another stratosphere.
Yeah, it's like some number, innit?
You know, there's no, yeah, incredible, really.
To lap the TT course at an average speed of 136 miles per hour is almost unexplainable. But you want to know, right? So, come on then, Pete. Why don't you enlighten us?
I don't know what the best way of describing it is. Not really bragging rights, that's probably not the right thing to say, but there was a lot of talk about lap times and lap records and who else had done certain things in them 2 weeks.
135.531, the fastest lap ever on this 37 3/4 mile course. Michael Dunlop, take a bow.
And I guess the little devil in the back of my head went, well, go on then, how fast can we go?
Outright lap record pace 4.7 seconds inside at Balaf. 7:13.2 is the outright lap record to Balaf. Peter Hickman's there in 7 minutes and 7.5 seconds. Absolutely incredible on a super stock machine. Hickman is absolutely flying.
I got a clear lap, so it was only John that I passed. I was just really enjoying myself with the bike. I was having a really good time on the bike.
He's going for the super stock double. He's on 136.1 pace to the bungalow. He is almost exactly 5 seconds inside outright lap record pace.
Yeah, across the line I saw 16:36 come up and I was like, that's a 36, definitely. I don't know how far into the 36s, but I knew it was a 36.
136.358 miles per hour. He lowers the outright lap record for the TT course to 16 minutes 36.115. What a lap by Peter Hickman. That is sensational.
16 minutes and 36 seconds. That's a big leap up from a 130 lap. So, what's the new benchmark here? What does competitive even mean? What do you have to do to keep up?
I think, and I'm no expert, but I do understand speed. And I think you need to be between 132 and 135.
Where do you put competitive? Do you put competitive top 6, top 10? In which case you're going to have to be doing 132s, 133s, aren't you, I think?
You've got to do some incredible speeds to even think about a podium now.
Things have moved on such a big step.
That shift has happened pretty quickly, hasn't it? You know, your man Hickman and Harrison and Dunlop, they've just gone, sorry lads, we're going to have to move this up a bit now.
Because that's the way it's going. Everyone's getting faster. If the weather conditions are perfect, there's plenty of rubber on the track. If you want to win a race, especially in the big class, you've got to think, how can I go under 17 minutes? Otherwise, there's no chance.
That's fast. If that's the benchmark, that is a big benchmark. Because that's hard.
Yeah, that's hard to get under.
Once you reach 130, maybe the next target is, well, 17 minutes.
Yeah, you have to be doing that, don't you? But to do that is hard work, honestly.
There's not many guys that have gone over 133, but there's a lot of guys that have gone from 130 to 132. And you think of the level of guys that did that and how good those guys are, and they're not going past 133.
There's a couple of people that have done 133s.
133.1, 17 minutes, pretty much on the nose.
I've done 17 minutes flat that many times.
It is an Olympic level of speed, that sort of stuff. It's not something that normal people can achieve. You need to be so on your game.
You either pack your bags and walk away or keep, you know, it's obviously possible. They're not magicians, it is humanly possible, so we sort of strive for more and keep chasing.
Once 2 or 3 riders
break a barrier, it then shuffles up. Something clicks in everyone's head that it's not just one man who's an alien that can do it, there's 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden you stick your shoulders out and you think, well, if he can do it and he can do it, then I can do it.
A benchmark number's, yeah, under 17 minutes, but...
Realistically, there's not that many people that is up to the speed of doing that.
I don't know, we got Hickey, Michael, Dino.
The outright lap record wasn't broken in 2024. Nobody touched it, not even Pete. But something very special did happen. The other riders levelled up. It's no longer just 3 aliens. There's 5 of them now, and they've all formed a new club. It's called Sub 17. Times are changing at the Isle of Man TT. The lap speeds are ever increasing around this place. So, if there's one question to ask, it's how much faster can we go?
I think every year the benchmark is moved. You've got to be evolving, moving with it. You can't get fixed on one particular point.
Maybe riders have a personal ambition to get to a point, but that's only to get to that point before you get to that point. So there's more, there's always more.
I know I'm capable of so much more than what I've done to this point.
Because I've got a good idea of where I think I can be if I want to be, but there's a thing thinking it and there's another thing doing it.
There's no doubt about it, we're getting closer and closer to the high 130s, and that is the facts of it. You know, it's just getting quicker, it really is.
It's difficult. I mean, we could see a 137 at some point in our lives, and that would be just incredible. I reckon you need that wind-assisted ideal.
I don't know where the lap record's going to go.
Well, I think if you probably put everyone's sectors together, it's probably like 37 or 38, is it?
There are 6 sectors to the Isle of Man TT course. They all hold their own records. And if you add them all together, you'll unlock the answers you've been looking for. The ideal, fastest lap of the Isle of Man TT course.
All right, so it's already that far in. Well, the next, I think the next target's going to be a clean 16, isn't it? I mean, it's a long way, but you know, at the rate that things are improving, it's probably not that unrealistic. You have to recognise how quickly things are moving on. So,
whether or not we're getting to that cap, you know, is it gonna go much quicker? It's hard to say. We always said that about 120, 125, 130. Yeah, where are we going to end up with the superbikes?
Somebody should be able to know where it will come to an end, because you cannot average 200 mile an hour, can you? Because the bike only does 200 mile an hour. Like, it keeps going on and keeps going on, but it's not going to keep going on. It can't keep going on forever. So when it gets to the point where it can't go anymore, is there going to be a group of riders that can all do that, or what?
It's hard to see getting to like 140. I don't know, maybe 5 years I'll eat my words on this, but...
If you put like a robot on the bike, it'll do 140 mile an hour probably easily. Do you know what I mean? On a superbike, because it would be perfect everywhere.
I still say 3 or 4 years, maybe 5, when we'll see the first 140 mile an hour lap. And then when we get that, it'll be the 135 club.
Whenever somebody breaks a lap record, whether it's in British Superbike, whether it's MotoGP, American Superbike, Australian Superbike, they go, how much quicker can they go? They'll always go quicker.
I mean, yeah, we sit and go 150 mile an hour lap. But back when we did 120, someone said 130, they go, no, it's impossible. You can't go around at that speed. You cannot go around at that speed. But who knows? It's a very exciting future.
Like, Peter Hickman, if he doesn't do 137 this year, I'll be surprised. And next year, it might be a 138. The bikes, until they slow the bikes themselves down, they're always going to go faster. They'll always figure it out. I mean, that's the whole idea of development with motorcycles. You want to go quicker. It's the whole point of racing. You don't want to go slower than you went last year. But yeah, you want to win, you want to go faster.
You can never forget the real reason for racing. Lap records, they come and go. They don't stick around forever. This is a race of endurance. Anything can and will happen. So you get your head down and go. Remember, this is a road race. And at the end of the day, a racer just wants to win.
It was amazing how many people mentioned the 130 lap over my win.
Lap records don't really put wee trophies in the mantelpiece unless you do the lap record and win the race at the same time. Well, that's a good ego booster, but you know.
I got knocked for 130, I got a pat on the back. It's irrelevant, really. The numbers are all numbers.
Records are always there to be broken.
There's always improvement.
Yeah, everything's going to get broken records eventually. Years ago, people were saying no one would ever beat Joey Dunlop's 26 wins.
King of the Mountain, I tend to think it's the fastest guy around the mountain. So in that case, I've got to say Peter Hickman.
Yeah, he's the fastest guy. For how long? We'll see.
Just purely by the numbers, I think Michael's the king of the mountain at this moment.
At the end of the day, I just want to win motorbike races.
He's not done it because he's a Dunlop, he's done it because he's earned it.